Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. All right. Sounds good. Great. Thank you.
Oh my
much.
god.
Oh my god.
Another one.
Already another one. Devil's Reflex. Thank you for subscription. I want content patches before TC tests. We actually don't plan to do any content patch before TC test. We are getting ready for the public test session. We're gonna update more soon, quite shortly, on the plan setup for that. So we're working very hard to get everything in now and then just polish it together and then unleash you guys on it. And hopefully you will help us to iron out the last stuff we may find. Hey man, hope you're working hard. We are indeed working hard.
Oh my god, another one.
Oh my god, another one. Sherman95. Thank you very much. And Weenout. Thank you very much as well for your subscriptions. We appreciate it. Henrik, how are you? I am good, thank you. Can't complain. A little stressed. You know, there's a lot. It's strange. There's always this tendency that everything is gonna happen close to summer. Then we have some vacation days we need to attend to. We have the annual meeting in the company, and obviously some big content is going in with TC, as you know. It's a huge system, but it's a greatly improved system from the first game, and we really believe that this will be a much better experience for everyone, from small groups to large groups. And there will always be infinite loops when it comes to hunting content action for TC, from small villages to large ones. So we're quite excited to see when you get in on tests and get a little feel for it as well, and obviously help us iron out balance issues, and obviously bugs is the plan to take care of. Where's my new Gucci clothes? It's coming. So we're actually building 3 quite awesome clothing sets. They're a little bit in the background, as you know. TC is the full focus, so we're not, you know, putting any additional resources on pretty much any other thing than TC currently. But we have some plan to. You know, when we have Epic Games, we have some NPC updates and so on. And I think you will enjoy the clothing sets that we made. I just saw the second one fully updated today, and it's blown my mind how cool it is. So they're getting there for sure. And I have one little sneak peek for today. You know, I tried to get something for every stream, as you know, even though it just feels like I'm streaming every second day because it's once a week still. Sometimes it's a struggle to have time to dedicate for something additional cool for the streams, but we try to get something at least. We have a few things that we want to show up in our upcoming streams. Fashion Week. What is it? Fashion Week? Why isn't any effort put into bounty hunting? It's been 1 year since bounty hunter patch. Since we are 100% busy with the server and TC, everyone is, you know, rightfully asking for TC to be delivered, right? And we can't simply add more feature to this table, because then we're just expanding things or risk stability or polish. So we need to focus at a fewer large things at a time rather than throwing in everything or random features. I sure hope they are symmetrical. The clothing, if not, getting rid of auction house. The broker in the cities, you mean? No, we're not. Those are still a core pillar of trading. Obviously, you're going to have more and more tools over time. There may be features you may be wishing for. If we see it fits, we may add that also in upcoming. Obviously, TC is a huge thing, right? But there are several features and content and buildings that we plan to add additionally later after TC, after the main TC patch, such as breeding, farming grounds, and some other things. We have the relic building. We don't have the relic function yet, so but those are obviously requirements when the relic system feature goes into the game as well. You mean armor sets? So we have light, medium, and heavy armor, and light is the clothing category, I would say. And yes, we're getting 3 light clothing sets. They have some defense. Later down the road, when we plan to add enchantments, you can also obviously have some benefits from light from the different groups as well. This is most important. Definitely looking forward to come town clothestone though. Yeah, obviously we lack a little bit when it comes to a little bit normal citizen clothing, right? Starting clothing rags, but something suitable. So yeah, we're getting 3 sets. Something I'm gonna show you one of them today. It's done. It's finished, and then we're gonna show you the 2 others in upcoming as well, I think. Are they craftable? Yes. When can we ride bears? I'm not entirely sure which creatures and in what batch we add additional ones. We have done the min-max, the extremes, so it's quite more easier to add upcoming ones. But the plan is to add a few more over time. I can't say exactly which one and when. Like I said, we are very, very focused on TC. We want to deliver that in a really solid state. Want to make sure we cover it in a proper time frame as well. And then we can continue down the road with those side features. Please nerf mounted magery. Mounted archery severely outperforms mounted magery. Is this intended? Ooh, so you see, we're already contradicting us a little bit here, right? So we had a component. We have finally the component that are quite important for that kind of balance, which is dismount functions and fall, on your back, which is quite severe if you're mounted anything, right? You made pets too weak. They are not as usable. Bane Spike TV, better nerf all pets. Another one. Neon pink dive clothes incoming. We do plan to implement the die and guild logo emblem design system sometime after Epic. And we're going to use the same type of die system we did in the first game, which is quite sophisticated. There are thousands of combination of how you get your different colors and the strength of the colors from common items to more rare items in the world. The only difference is that you will be able to save that color settings, so you don't have to mass produce it every time. And then you can dye your clothing guild stuff with this tube. And yeah, I mean, there will be all colors, right? But obviously they will be within the color spectrum that fits this time and settings, right? Hello, my orange friend. Am I still? So I always start out as a little bit orange, but the later it goes, when sunlight goes down, I'm not orange anymore. So it's something with the camera, I think. It's not the professional camera. Henrik, what's going on with the house placement? I just bought my first deed and can't place it. I'm about to die and lose my deed. It's not a great experience, to be honest. So obviously this greatly depends on where you are in the world, right? We are currently looking on the placement tools in codes to refine it. We have got player feedback that it is quite hard to place some of these buildings in many locations in the world where it seems to be, you know, a suitable place for a house. So obviously that will also be the same thing then for TC buildings, right? So we're looking at those functions to make sure that if it looks like it should fit, then hopefully it will fit also, right? So we are looking on that right now as we're working with the TC structures. So hopefully it will be, you know, easy enough to place as long as there are some visible space for them. Buff nerfs, nerf buffs. Indeed. Will staff magic be implemented? Yes, but not until sometime after Epic. I said it a few times, we're gonna have a little community interaction where we kind of put the outline of the different options. And one of the options is picking one of the upcoming magic schools. And you will be able to choose between 3 or 4 magic schools. And staff magic will be one of them because it's been one of those schools that have a high interest in the community. So if it comes down to, okay, we are picking one magic school, which one, and depending on your vote, that will be the school, right? So it could very much be the staff magic. Staff magic have been quite popular when I've done some small community votes on it on the streams, and it shows a good indication. So it could be that one. Pets are so weak, make them stronger. Humans are weak when buffs. I mean, humans are not really weak, right? They are a very popular common clade selection in the game, and there are a huge majority of our player base are humans. And obviously, if they were weak, underpowered, no one would have picked them. It's very obvious and clear, right? It speaks for itself. The data speaks for itself. Now, does that mean we have ultra perfect clade balance at all times everywhere? No, and it most likely it never will be. It also very dependent or heavily changes depending on where you are in the world, what you're doing. Then the different clades will shine in different ways as well, and that's also kind of, you know, a backbone that ties with the design. That, you know, there will be differences, and sometimes there will be some clades outperforming others depending on what happens and what they're doing, right? But I wouldn't say that humans are weak. Quite the opposite. They are extremely popular. They have their strength. Absolutely. There will be rewards for bounty hunting. As I said before, we were very unsure that bounty hunting would actually work in our game. But now when we see that, okay, the first basic step of that system actually works, some people are, you know, playing around with it, enjoying it on a quite daily basis. But yes, absolutely. Now when we have we know that, and we know it's worth investing the rest of that system because people can enjoy it, then obviously we're going to do that, right? So the things we plan to add is obviously some specific rewards you can trade with the coins. And the other parts we want to add is additional options and tools for when you take the different missions. So that will also be a more convenient setup, and you don't always get randomly someone across the world, and that's what you're stuck with for X amount of time before you can take a new one. So we're gonna tweak those things and add some more options, but we won't we won't be able to make that before TC or Epic as it's looking right now. There are some severe big core parts that we all want and need and been waiting for too long now, and we need to deliver those first. What's the point of these dice if colorblind won't see them? Obviously, some people reach out every now and then when it comes to color blindness. It's obviously it's not the most common issue that we have to work on right now. Obviously, it's unfortunate if it becomes in-game issue due to colors, right? So we look just very little in it when it comes to what can we do to help with color blindness, right? And obviously we're gonna try to do some of those options that are doable from our point of view. So yeah, I mean, sure, we're gonna try to do what we can do, right? But it's not the first on the list to go to right now, as you understand. Let's go, Vanilla Lifts. What's your kind of favorite kind of onion? Yellow onion is pretty good in a lot of things, and then obviously garlics is good, right? So I would say those two are quite up there. Placing houses is basically impossible at the moment. I mean, we haven't changed the system at all, so it's always been the same struggle, I would say. But of course, more and more people are occupying land, which obviously give less and less options over time. But yes, we are fully aware of that. There are cases where it's too severe. The rules should visibly allow it to build there, even though it doesn't. That's something we are, trying to refine and make sure we have improved for TC. Because obviously now when you're going to build a lot more, then obviously we need to make sure that you can actually build when it looks like you could build there, right? Is TC gonna what Elder Scrolls does or Gloria Victis? So obviously, being a gamer and played a lot of MMOs out there and different types of sieging mechanics games. Obviously, there's a lot of inspiration to be taken from quite a few games, but we also try to do our version when it comes to offering something unique and fun, and also obviously adapt it to our type of game. Gloria Victis is a little bit more like arena action-based, jump in, go warp to that location, have a fight, almost like Mordhau, right? You go there to a siege, you have your steps, while our game is a little bit more MMORPG sandbox, persistent. There's a core in background where there's a living trading economy with player conflicts and all kind of features. And then obviously TC is a big component where you can construct cities and have many different features in these cities that are, many of them unique that I've never seen in other games. And then of course we have our siege mechanic system, and we never wanted to go the full siege window route where two people acknowledge the siege and then you wait X amount of days or hours and then you can siege, and only then. That's one of the things that also never really fit Modern Online. But at the same time, we're trying to see how can we prevent some worse gaming experience and how can we limit ninja sieges and such. Those have obviously been some of the concerns we're trying to improve on since the first system. And that's also what I think we successfully so far have some really interesting system for in mind. And we have them on the website. We posted. I have one dedicated stream when we briefly went through the core system of it, how it works, and how to build and siege. So it's available on our website if you want to dig a little bit deeper. But also this is obviously what you're gonna be able to test and give feedback on and report issues, balance issues, or whatever you may find in our upcoming public test session where this is the focus, right? So I would say it's inspiration from quite a few different games and mechanics, but also our own refined take from the first game, Mortal Line 1. So it's going to be very interesting to see when we start the first public test rounds. We have a date. We're not going to announce the date until we are a little bit closer, so we know we covered what we need to, and then hopefully get your help to crunch the crap out of it, right? What practical function would the clothes serve? Why would I wear them over armor? So obviously clothing won't be superior to heavier armor when it comes to pure melee damage reduction, right? There will be benefits for specific magic school spells, light weights, more over time as well, depending on the schools that rely on heavy lightweight and clothing and not heavy resources. We have assassination skills in the upcoming patches, sometime after Epic as well. Thievery. Some of those function requires very light gear to not be interfered or minimizing your success rates in different forms. So there will be absolutely more play styles and feature skills that rely heavily on your weight and your armor weight. So right now, obviously, if you're more of a classic foot fighter, then obviously a quite heavy armor is, a common powerful gear setup, right? But over time, when you have those options, if you want to go those routes, then light gear will be more optimal for those builds. But it comes at a risk reward, right? You will obviously be more vulnerable for attacks, but you may have some special moves that also allows you to keep that little distance. There will be magic schools that rely heavily on it as well. And later on, like I said, also we are looking at to add enchantments, magic properties you can add on these gears, while some of those attributes are stronger on a lighter fabric clothing gear rather than heavy plate or metals, right? So there will be absolutely more room for experiment around different builds down the road. Gilbert Wombat, thank you for the subscription. 12 month. Hey Henrik, can you give us some information where the new animal armor will come, or will it be in the next patch? I have to check with our list. We have finished some armor and bags. I'm not exactly sure in what order they go in. I have to look into that, but I know we have been finishing some of that content. And it may absolutely be in our next patch. I don't know how much of it at this point, though. Now, when we're talking about the clothing, I may as well proceed to the next point, guys. Shall we take a look here then? I'm curious to see what you think about the design for this. So this is one of the first quite rough, but it fits some styles, as you can see. Let me find it. There we go. So, oops. Better. So this is one of our basic clothing sets. Nice shoes. So this is one of the basic, as you can see, but it still also fits if you want to be a classic pirate, could be something like that, a little rough version. And then we have two others that are quite different and a little bit more luxurious, I would say. Fable. Good old Fable. No, we spent a lot of time in creating every single wrinkle on this. Everything is carefully handcrafted to try to fit our lore and universe and the different clades as well. Looks like a random homeless guy. Yeah, and that's kind of the goal with this armor set or clothing set. You know, a poor man's starting leather. So the thing is, this goes completely into the crafting system. So right now we're using a normal leather. This is why you can see it brown. But if you change that leather to something, a nice silk or something else, then obviously the color gonna change, the material gonna change. It will look different depending on your materials. You can make a little bit more luxurious version, not going the brown leather, going something nice fabric, and obviously it's gonna look quite different. So and then we have the rags that is, you know, coming with this set as well. It's a little, you know, a kind of broken down cape, as you can see, but it's pretty cool. It has its charm, I think. Looks like a feminine pirate. What is a feminine? Just in time for sailing, where his fishing net and trident. Looks nice. I like the cape. That looks cool. But why? Why we want clothes and needs clothes? Good question. Only mortals. I think you can, you know, get to that conclusion yourself if you give your head a little moment. The cape is class. Is that a new cape? It is a new cape, yes. So that is the thing. Every single component we build mix and match with everything we always build. And that's also one of the huge challenge. We don't just give an artist, here's a concept, try to make it. Hell no. There's so much going back and forth between several developers to make sure this works in the crafting system with the materials, the resource materials, and that they can mix and match. So when we have 3 sets of clothes, you can mix match every single part so it looks like, you know, we have hundreds of clothes, and then with the different resource materials and so on. And not only that, you can also obviously mix match them with armor, other armor types. So, you know, the more we add, the more variation you're gonna see in the world by NPCs, and obviously the players have the same options, right? What is this? This is one of the poor man's clothing sets that you can craft in different materials. And the cape along with this set is this rough cape, as you can see here. And we need some mage robes that doesn't look like hobo clothing. Jason, just wait till you see the 2 other one, and you will see that you will have quite a variation on the style. Can I craft this without a workbench? No, you will be able to craft it similar way as you're crafting any gear that you can wear. So many things these games needs before clothing. Caswin, I've said it many times. I know it's not easy to understand the development of a game, but you know, artists can only do some things. Technical artists can do some things. Coders do some things. There are so many different developers, right? And obviously, artist that only knows how to create models, there's not much he can do when it comes to quality of life, function, or bug fixing. Is there? So that's a challenge, right? If we don't want to, you know, remove half of our team because we cannot show you new stuff while we're working on bugs and quality of life things, you see the problematic here. When you made him armor. So, like I said, after Epic, you will choose the path of what content we should add to the game next. And if people want medium armor as content for characters, then that may be that what we pick for the next roadmap. Where's the rest of his pants? This is it. It's short pants. Poor man's pants. More minimum would be nice. Yeah, so if that's what the majority when it comes want in the game next, you know, then you just vote on that and we'll make that happen. So obviously you'll be able to pick more gear on your character or a weapon group or something else, and we will pick one of those. So if medium armor comes before fist weapons or crossbows, you know, then we're gonna make medium armors. So you're gonna help us pick upcoming content for the characters in the upcoming roadmap. You can get them in black. So as you know, we also have the dye system coming later, and the dye system allows you to dye certain types of clothing, soft tissues, seams, and different things on your gear. Obviously that doesn't mean you can just color your steel something different, because we always want the players to be able to see this guy are wearing Chronite or, you know, Ogmim or whatever that may be. So there are always that player skills in mind, but there are room for you to dye certain things on your gear, so you can pick some color to again make your style unique or run in fashion with your guild. What is the point of clothing? So Arcane, I just responded to that one. You may have missed it. But so obviously now there's a few things, right, that make sense. When you start a game, we have more basic clothing set. We have citizens, NPC citizens, and town folks. It's a little bit silly when everyone in the world runs around in armors, right? Especially shopkeepers or whatever. They all have armors. So obviously we are missing some clothing, right? So that's an obvious one. But then also more over time, we have specific magic schools, we have assassin skills, thievery skills, special abilities that rely on light builds, light gear, and you will be heavily hindered if you have made it more heavy when using some of those builds, gifts, skills, features. So obviously more and more over time, you will also be able to refine a perfect character build that fits your desire of how you want to play the game, right? Obviously now when it comes to fighting on the field, heavy armor is quite the go-to, right? But like I said, there will be absolutely more and more over time when we add this component that we are planning to add after Epic. Wait, so like, can we dye the Tynamic Knight torso fabric parts fully? Could be awesome. Yes, so some of the armors you have now, you can see some torso pieces with clothing, etc. Those will be dyeable. We're even looking to add some section where it fits that you can have your guild logo emblems as well, additionally to flags and banners. So yeah, wherever you see some of the clothing on our armor gear, there's a good chance that that will be part of the dye section. Filter White, I'm looking for premium goblin clothing so I can properly collect my jungle camp goblin tags from unsuspecting players. And in time, you will be able to refine towards that clothing, goblin clothing. I'm quite sure. Is there going to be a different banners that drops from a mob or boss? So we're looking to add a few new banners with a few color choices for TC, because, you know, people have asked for it, because we know we're not gonna have the dye and guild logo system ready for TC. That's coming after. So while we're waiting on that, we're gonna add a few of those banners, yes, so you can use those if you want to. We may add a few of them that are obtained in certain ways, and some may be just bought from NPCs. So there may be some options you can, work a little bit to get some of the rarer types if that's what you want to go for. Peter Griever, this is meant to be the poor man's rags, starting clothing gear, poor man's pirates, beggars, citizens. Every citizen shouldn't walk around in a padded armor or plate armor, right? It doesn't make sense. After all, it is an RPG game also. So obviously we want to have a huge variation from poor man's clothing to rich man's clothing to different types from medium to heavy armor, obviously. Elon Musk. What? Love it. And obviously, if you want to be a pirate, this could be a pretty cool pirate suit, right? What is the clothing for? So I think you missed it. I've said it 2 times now, and that is why we do recaps, right? I fully understand people are jumping in late and missing those questions, but I don't want to bore everyone by repeating the same answer too many times. So the recap, we always try to put that on our website the next or second day after the stream, and that will highlight the common questions. So obviously there's good thought behind everything we invest time into and add to the game, and it all ties more over time. That's one of the golden thing, right, with this game. It's a ever evolving, and the more content we get, the more ties we connect by utilizing value in different forms. Like I said, when there are more and more professions, for instance, that rely heavily on your light gear, clothing gear, then obviously you want to have some option in that category, right? PowerPoint. I don't have a PowerPoint, I'm afraid. Just have this little sneak peek today. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too fancy. So for pirate clothes, so give us the ships. So the ships will be obviously sometime after Epic. Again, it depends if the majority of the community are picking that as one of our next big feature, then that is what we're going to focus on. I mean, obviously this is not just a pirate clothing set, right? It's like I said, could be any poor man's, citizens, thief, assassin, disguisement, whatever you need. Pirate Hobo Edition. So we are finalizing 3 clothing sets, and they're all mix and matchable. So they all look good together when you mix and match, like I said, depending on materials as well. Beggar clothing, brilliant for RP. I mean, sooner or later we're gonna have the beggar skills as well. Everyone don't have the nafty vocal skills as Jake, and asking for a few coins when he meet his fellow citizens and make a profit on those beggar skills. Some of us need character beggar skills as well, right? Yes, all these 3 are light sets. I mean, we're getting closer to thievery and assassin skills, which also, again, heavily rely on light gear. So this is not really a balance focus stream where we jump into heavy battles when it comes to balance. I mean, there's always people screaming left and right, up and down, and you know, it's not the place where we have a stream focus on that. So that's why I'm not really commenting on what kind of balance change we're going to focus on now or next or in the upcoming place. As I said, we always gather data, numbers, and see what's going on after a while when people actually experiment with them. A meta can change within 1 to 3 months, even though we haven't changed a single thing in the game. And some of that happens every now and then as well. What I can say about pets is that we are missing again with the thievery assassin skills. We don't have traps that are also heavily affecting pets. We're getting more and more spells that affect pets. You already have quite a few of them. Obviously, when people ignore that those options are there, then obviously pets may be more of a threat. There are Sulgi skills against them. And we have one of the components that are balanced things is we're not where we aiming to be when it comes to passive using a pet should be less effective than actively using its abilities. We're not there yet. So obviously those are careful things we need to carefully address over time. There's a buff, a concentration buff. Let me put clothing on my dominated Seda. We will see, we will see. What can you tell us about thievery? Well, it's gonna be based on quite similar function from the first game, which means you have a skill to try to peek into someone's pocket, and then you have a skill to try to steal something from them. We are adding gear, so you will have actually tools that will help you doing these actions. So there's a bit more risk reward investment. So you can't just run around naked, steal, get taken by the guards, killed, and resurrect and repeat. That doesn't really give fun, exciting, rewarding skills for the thief, right? So that's why we are refining that a little bit to add those component specific tools for the thief. And you can't just run around naked, as I said. So there's a little bit more planning and investment before you try to steal something. And you will also be able to try to grab something from a stack rather than, in the first game you learned that don't carry 1-2 gold because they're easy to steal. Convert them into a stack of silver and no one can steal them ever. So we refine that part as well. So yeah, that's some of the updates we need to do. Would there ever be a prison or jail system? I mean, that question comes up every now and then, and obviously we can all see the challenges when it comes to that. If we allow someone to lock a player from not being able to play the game for a certain amount of time, we need to be very careful how those mechanics works, right? Because if you have limited game time and you get locked in a jail and you can't do anything to get out of the jail, then obviously that's going to be a little problematic, right? But there could be options and solutions where you where the system is there, but you can work around it in different ways and still continue playing the game and enjoy the game rather than just being locked for X amount of hours or days or so. So I mean there could be room for that, absolutely. If there's again a big interest in a jail punishment system. We're gonna pick a few areas. Everything from combat, PvP, PvE to non-combat features, and put that on the forums, and we will allow you to jump in, pick your votes, and give feedback on what of those areas are at the most interest. And then we'll try to refine upcoming roadmap that builds on that feedback. So you will have a very heavy impact on what you want to see after Epic Immortal Line. Or any clothing effect like buff, range, combat, range, no, there's no buff as of now. There will the upcoming skills and content, some of the special moves benefit greater from light gear. And as I also said, we are planning to add enchantments later that also may benefit in some ways better for specific materials like light fabric compared to steel and other materials. Arsatica was initially considered to be a NA server when it comes out. Can you confirm that it will be NA? I've heard you have already made the decision to have it as yet another EU server. No, we have actually not made any final decisions at all. We are looking at some different options we have to actually distribute other continents on other locations in the world, which could be one server in NA, one server in Singapore or anywhere around Asia location. So that could be the route we go. So players can always obviously travel from one continent to another, but they may also have the different distances, ping differences depending on where they are in the game world. Master QWERTY, thank you for the prime.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one. Cla Funking Pro, thank you. Thank you. Great posture. Oh, my neck is falling in the crackland. Cracked angle. Do any news on how thievery will work? I just commented on thievery footwork in the basics function of it. We are reworking parts when it comes to the reputation system, flagging system, and nation standings along with Epic. So you're gonna see a little change there as well, that obviously we're gonna prepare you of those updates when we get a little bit closer. Please don't Asia, they all cheat. I mean, we have the Australian people as well, right? That will benefit from a server that is a little bit closer there. And we have quite a lot of Australian people playing our game. It's a surprisingly decent amount. And a lot of them can play fine, and some of them obviously suffer from quite worse latency. Man, this arm looks awful. That's the intention. It's not really the Top Gear rich man bragging armor you're walking around with. This is a shady bastards build, and also citizens clothing, So obviously it's up to you if you want to wear it, and if it's something you need for your build. If you're going rogue, assassin, thievery or something like that, then you benefit more greatly from this type of armor rather than medium or heavy. So obviously there are going to be more choices and options that benefit the different roles and styles that you may go for over time. So again, this is a marathon, not a quick sprint. You will see so many different builds on the road in upcoming months that benefit a lot of different gear. Rowan, thank you for the prime. Will thievery be based on Dex again? We'll like to prepare for it. Dex will absolutely have an impact in thievery. It goes a little bit hand in hand, yes. Fatta Gaming, I'm afraid I don't have more clothing sets. I have them without materials, color maps, textures, and I like to show them when they are pretty much final, so you can see what you're gonna get. And I think you're gonna be quite impressed by the more impressive rich man gears, or whatever you want to call them. That is very different from this one. But I mean, we need some citizen gear as well, and obviously this is a good thing. And like I said, you can mix match everything, so we can generate new types of NPCs that looks like they all have different types of clothing, and not just walking around in your armor gears, which is a little bit strange, right? Do not put a server in Asia. We don't want Australian and Asian people to play our game. Dar begone? Is that what you're saying? How can we take over the world? No way NA doesn't outnumber Australia and Asia. No, NA is quite obviously a big continent with we have a lot of players from there. Like I said, last time I checked Steam numbers, they are around 34%. So obviously North America is a big component. But if you calculate spread out from many different countries, Europe, Asia, Australia, then obviously we have a completely different sets of numbers. We need to market more to the UK. I see a little of my UK brethren playing. I mean, we don't, that's the thing. We do zero marketing today, which is unheard of for any game. And obviously that makes us sell less awareness. And obviously that's not optimal for us if we want to obviously get more resources, get more developers. But again, we also try to think smart for the long run. We know that we have a very good opportunity to have a kind of relaunch, the launch with Epic Games platform. We have a improved new player experience, a more refined flagging criminal system to protect the new players, more better endgame infinite loop for veterans and TC. All those big components in place is obviously gonna make the game look, feel, experience much better from a new player to an old player, from someone coming back, since he touched the game the first time. And that's when we want to hit marketing hard. That's when we want to reach out to everyone that, look, a lot of things have happened in Multiplan 2. Now we are pushing hard. We have those components that a lot of people have been asking for. We have polished the game. We have a much better new player experience. And that means when those new players show up that never heard about the game, they have a much better experience. They can get into the game, and many more of them can, think that, wow, I mean, this is a cool game. I enjoy it. It's so different from World of Warcraft clones or theme park games. And I got a fair chance to get into the game also. I just didn't get ganked, and I have no clue what to do when I left Haven. So therefore I quit the game. So fixing that allow us to push hard on marketing. And that's when we hope that your brethren UK players may find the game and enjoy the game much better. And obviously that's also why we haven't enabled any subscription. So we try to do our best here to make a solid transition to global visibility, marketing, Epic Game, awareness, a better experience in the game overall, and just do our best. Obviously, it's always a challenge being a small team, but I believe that it's worth not spending marketing right now, getting in more players, but also more of those players that could have become a player may not become a player due to some of these things I just said. Do you agree? Do you see what I mean? The point of this? Maybe I'll be one of the first English streamers post Unreal launch. We will see, Czech Club. In your last stream, you touched on a achievement website or something. Will this take into consideration with already achieved data? Could you clarify, please? I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember what you're referring to. I think I mentioned that, yes, we have achievements that are tied with Steam today, And that is a little bit restricted. What we do want to do whenever we have the time is build our own achievement system on one of our servers rather than Steam's. And that allows us to do a little bit more cool stuff and have no limitation whatsoever that we have a little bit today, sadly, if that's what you were referring to. All achievement already earned will obviously still be there, but we're going to add a lot more. Just don't make the game too care bearish for these new players. Fat Mage. So obviously we always try to stay true to our red line when it comes to what Mortal Online is. And as soon as you have full loot, full PvP, player-driven markets, one world, you know, it's very instantly quite hardcore for many. You know, we don't have a PvE server only. But the areas that we've been talking about, that is absolutely must and requirement, and I think everyone agrees to it. There's a very small group fighting against these updates, and that is because we all understand, for us to grow and keep new players and even give a fair chance for new players to actually get to see what is Mortal Online and how may they enjoy the game, we need to make sure they can survive those first steps, right? And we want to give something juicy for the veterans that does nothing but, you know, exciting PvP challenges. Obviously, there should be that, and that comes a lot with TC, right? So that means hopefully the new players will have a better, you know, time to take their time, explore and learn the game, and then slowly move out in the world, and then eventually they may be hungry for TC action or any conflicts out in the wild where there's no lawless zones and so on. A little bit like EVE Online, right? Most people that are new especially started in high security, right? And they take their time. They wouldn't just be ganked as soon as they left the station. They had protection. They could learn the game, and then slowly over time, they all sooner or later go to nullsec, right? And that's when crazy things happens. We need that transition, or we're never gonna grow in a steady pace. I think everyone can sign off to that. Ten Ginger, I think that was a little bit foolish comment, right? Like I said, we have a whole team that does nothing other than working against cheaters and crap in the game, and they're working their ass off, and they are finding stuff. We are removing cheaters, and I think it's a slap in the face to ignore that. You know, we have people working their asses off in banning and removing such players and content from the game. But you know, again, I will not blame players. Players will say what they think, but we can only provide data, what we're doing, and we try to share a lot of that, even though obviously we can't say what we're doing security-wise. Other than that, we always have to spend a lot of resources in this field, which is quite unfortunate because obviously it steals from game development, but it's something we absolutely have to do, and we're always doing it. And I would love to not have to do it, but we have to, and we are doing it. I'm a PvE princess. Once you get over your gear fear, you can still enjoy full loot games. Absolutely, but like I said, we have a big disconnection when it comes to there's no Graceland, there's no landing place for new players. The starting location are complete hell for a new player, depending on who they run into. It can be the best experience ever, and they get recruited and they enjoy the game forever, or they run into a crazy madman and they quit the game. We can't allow that to happen. I think anyone with their right mind can understand why, right? And that shouldn't be the fun and cool thing for a veteran to do. Destroy a noob for nothing, waste his own time and the noob and, you know, a growing player base. That's on us, right? So that's why we need to take action and make sure that the transition from Haven to Milan should be, you know, easy and understandable. And then it's up to the new players to slowly move out in the world when they think they're ready for madness, right? They're not Dupas or cheaters, they were banned. Darb gone. Why are we doing these silly comments? As I said so many times, there will always be cheaters in any online game. Even Blizzard have them, right? There's no difference between Star Wars and Blizzard when it comes to cheaters showing up. That's internet. So, like I said, we will keep working on it. We will keep banning them, and we'll keep expanding those systems on the side, and we always have to. It's very unfortunate, but that's the truth. So, if we didn't have to, then obviously we would have more game development faster, but that's just simply not a realistic approach today with any online game, sadly. I mean, you find cheaters in all online games, every single online games, including World of Warcraft. Believe it or not, they are there also on a quite regular basis, much more than Immortal 9, because it's a much larger market for them in those big games that have millions of players, right? So in that way, we're lucky we only have a fraction of players compared to most other online games. But obviously, you know, we plan to grow. That means we're also going to grow the player base of cheaters. That's naturally. We are always constantly following that and have to. Do you think a new player will have a chance against rich player? Yes, because it's not about that. Again, it feels like some people may think, again, that this is arena. And when you have your gear, you will always kill your opponents. Obviously, if you only have a shotgun and we're playing railgun maps because you played so much that you earn a railgun, obviously you're gonna fight off anyone else joining the map. But luckily, this is not Quake, right? This is a game where most of the people that find the games doesn't give a shit about you as a player, doesn't give a shit about what you have done, what you carry. They just give a shit about what can I do in this game? Where do I start? How do I survive? What kind of professions can I do? What do I enjoy in this game? What kind of guilds are there? What conflicts can I participate in? So, and then there are these, obviously a little bit more hardcore group that thinks, you know, everything is all about PvP. What gear do you have against the others? Obviously, if you're running around in steel and everyone is running around in some bad scale, or you even have Crow Knight or something, then obviously that will be a difference on the battlefield as well, right? But player skills, teamwork is always, you know, the main component when it comes to a successful outcome in a battle. So the majority of players are not even remotely interested in what you have done for a year in the game. It's just not in their mindset or world. So if you look at MMOs, online games, and the player base and what the different player minds are looking at, what they're doing, what they're interested in, you will see a whole new world if you haven't considered those aspects of an online game. And I know that can be strange if you haven't ever considered it, because obviously if you're not an MMO developer, why bother with that information and data, right? But obviously us that have been working on MMOs for 16 years, been playing the first MMOs since the first client-based game, obviously, you know, we are very passionate about that kind of data information as well. So, you know, there will always be those hardcore niche that want to wipe every month, want season-based, because they want to rush the things, they want to compete, they want to build up, and when that's done, they want a new season, right? But this is not that type of game. It's not a season game. It's not a Quake Arena game. And every single month and quarter, there will be new component, new features to race to. So whenever a noob starts, he may start right in a new race, and he can be first in exploring a new school or a new feature or reach something new. And it doesn't matter when, because there will always be something new every quarter or so that gives something unique, fresh to race with. If you care about racing, most people don't care about the racing. That's the thing I'm trying to point out here as well. So what you may have a concern when it comes to that, oh, I've been playing for 1 year, new player doesn't stand a chance. I mean, like I said, 98% won't give a shit about that. So it's a tricky thing, right? It's a tricky thing. And like I said, people always have different mindset and believe different things, no matter what, you know, the player base and data says in the game, right? So it doesn't matter really what I say either when I try to pass knowledge and experience and what we have, right? Some will listen, some won't. So just how it is with online internet games and such. Ogmir, so again, you're just guessing that we have 50 millions of duped gold and it's in the game and no one knows. The thing is, the majority of players don't have as remotely close to any richness. People talk about dupes. Yes, there are dupes, there have been dupes. We're removing them, we're banning them. But when these have been heard once and someone is talking about it, you may think that, oh yeah, everyone have millions. Everyone have millions in online. So therefore we need a wipe. And then someone else says, well, why wipe if there's going to be a new dupe in a couple of months, just like in any other online game? Should we have season games again, just because of that mindset? Doesn't make sense, doesn't follow logic whatsoever. And it would just be stupid because every time we would do that, we just kick the players' ass that cares about the game. And then we'll end up with cheaters and no real legit players. And then we can shut down the server. That's not a great, you know, marathon that we set up. We're gonna run Multiline 2 for many years, right? And if we run that crappily and don't have a view for the long term, how to handle issues in the long term, we can all give up already now. So obviously we can't have that broken mindset. We need to have a proper plan for the future. What would make me stop playing? Like I said, the majority that cares about the game, that invested so much in the game, will absolutely quit. And then sure, there are people that will love a race from the get-go. I know that as well. But like I said, those that would love a race also wants and need the new content, TC, endgame loops, because that's what they're interested in. And everyone starts at zero, like, you know, zero, like a wipe when it comes to starting that step. Sure, you may have gold and gear, but that doesn't matter because any group in the world that have played the game for quite a while have no problems reaching high tier gear if they want to commit to that. I mean, everyone can do that, right? So it ties to the component where if you die, lose something, you don't have to rage quit because you can always gear by producing it yourself or buying it on the market. And that's what, you know, make many new players a little, ooh, wow, okay, I thought you had to grind for 3 months to get the tier 3 gear to be able to PvP. Hell no, the veteran starts to explain, when you die, you lose your stuff. And you're gonna die, and you're gonna lose all of your stuff a lot. So you just have to adapt to that and instead prepare to have backups, have your profession adapted a little bit, have trades and friends and buy, and then you can go onto the battlefield in minutes again. So that goes hand in hand with that. So the majority of the players today are quite cheap, poor, I mean. No one has millions like someone spread false rumors. And then someone go and believe them. Holy shit, so everyone has millions. Am I the only poor man? No. we can see the database on a daily basis, exactly how much gold you have in your pocket and your chest, in your houses, everywhere, right? Tied to your account. So, and like I said, we have people monitoring this daily to make sure that, you know, gold goes in a correct way, and we always follow up on that. Big brother looking at my gold. Of course we are, of course we are. That's important. This game can be awesome with the proper company. Yes, and I will believe that is us. We have the most experience in this type of game since 16 years now. What we do lack is obviously manpower compared to the other giants, right? But you know, there's no one really entering this type of market for good reasons. They want to compete with the big boys, such as World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy. They're not happy with 100,000 players. They're happy with millions of players. And I have to spend an army to producing a story and saga and storyline and linear story progression. We skip all that and put that straight to the players instead. And we believe and we know there are hundreds of thousands of players that would enjoy Multi Online when it's ready and when we can reach out to more players. And that's all we need to be extremely successful. And maybe that also shows some of the giant, well, it can be somewhat successful. They don't have to spend as much resources perhaps, and there may be more options over time. I think it's quite sad that there's so little options when it comes to a true sandbox MMO. There's been nothing since Ultima Online. Star Wars Galaxy's had a nice run as well for a while. And some MMOs have had a decent interest as well, but really there are over 100, many more 100 WoW clones, theme park clones out there, and there's pretty much almost nothing when it comes to a sandbox, and I think that's super sad. But like I said, it's obviously companies that have a board, they look at successful titles. They all are looking at World of Warcraft. How do we make an improved World of Warcraft? You need billions of resources to make it happen, and obviously those companies try to do that. Why would they try to compete with something smaller when they are the big boys, right? Doesn't make sense. But we happen to be a smaller fish, but still grab a sandbox chunk player base, and we can be very successful with way less players. Yeah, Darkfall was a game that had a little more similarities to a game like this. I think they did some design decision that not fit our game or very different. But yeah, absolutely, that is one of those games that had quite a few similarities in terms of being free, PvP and such, right? Nothing but good times. Oh my god, Thermal Door. Thank you for the subscription. We don't have naming foods for TC planned currently, I'm afraid. Noznam. With the addition of new grass, pickable that cover much of the landscape, we are unable to find a place that allows strong to be placed. That shouldn't be affected, but thanks for pointing it out. If it's not reported, obviously I'm gonna pass that on to the team to see if there's something connected with that being an increased issue. All right. Governors only care about microtransaction nowadays. Yeah, again, they have a board member that doesn't give a crap mostly about games. They may not even be gamers, but they're there to do their job, and that is try to make a successful game that makes as much money as possible. If they can reach those goals, then they have done their job, right? And what did they do then? They analyze the market and see what are the most successful games, how can we squeeze the most money out of customers, how can we make them addicted and hooked in microtransactions and so on, and then try to refine that further, right? I strongly believe we can make a better game experience without forcing that on the players, a fair deal to get access to everything. That is our goal and vision. If we can make that happen, we are very happy with that. If we can reach our goals over time, we should be successful based on those numbers we are hoping for and estimating, and see the indication since the stress test. And only time will tell, right?
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
The Rin OG, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. And Irish Fury, thank you for the Prime. Call me Skims with the Prime. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Zero Life.
Another one.
With the Prime, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It goes straight back to you in the game development. What goes in goes back into the game. I was told the game will never wipe again. yeah. We had a few, discussion when we really tried to explain in depth with all the data on the table, fully transparent, what a wipe will mean or not a wipe would mean. And everything points towards and benefit the game in the future to have a proper system in place and never go wiping the game and rip off the players and lose a lot of players and not really have a magical solution forever against cheaters, because there never will be. This is the important component most people forget about. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy have cheaters every day. They are banned quite regularly and there are dupes quite regularly, but they have obviously a huge team working against it and cleaning it up. We have to do the exactly same thing. Obviously everything is in a smaller scale. We have fewer cheaters because we have smaller population, and we have obviously fewer developers working with it again. But we're doing the same thing as the giant, just in a much smaller scale, and we face the same kind of challenges just like any other online game. So there's no magical fix. A wipe wouldn't fix anything for the long run. The fix for the long run is that we can rely on our tools and developers and refine them every time something happens, and fix and remove that crap from the game, so the players can rely safely that, wow, I can enjoy this game for many, many years to come. I won't risk losing all my commitment. It won't wipe, but I can trust that the game developers does everything they can to make sure no one is cheating or doing crap in the game, even though it may take time sometimes for us to go through it and clean up things. But that's something I want every player to know, that that's something we're doing on a daily basis and have to always do. Well, Warcraft is poop. It's one of the most successful MMO in all time. So obviously they've done a lot of good things, but obviously when it comes to the game experience, depending on where you're coming from, what you're looking for, obviously that's what it comes down to, right? I feel like this type of game works better without the super high pops. Obviously more players is the end goal, but still. Yeah, I mean, obviously with a lot of population in the game, a lot of things gets more promoted. There's more conflicts, action, trades, crazy things going on, funny RP elements. Everything, scales up obviously with population, good and bad in some cases. And obviously we want to make sure that it's not too crowded, so there's no room for you to choose what to do, Hotspots always taken. Obviously that's not a good experience for smaller groups or solo players. So obviously we want to find that sweet spot when we have the time to grow the world along with the population. That is the end goal, right? I'm thankful there isn't pay to win or loot boxes. Yeah, I played a lot of pay to win microtransaction games that are quite awesome, developed games, but slowly I see how they cripple a game that could have been wonderful just having another paying model. I would just buy the game, pay my subscription, and get everything whenever I achieve it, rather than being locked behind time gates, locked behind buying stuff all the time, locked behind being weaker if I don't buy stuff. I don't like that experience at all, because I know that I always had to commit more money, and in the long term much more money than a subscription-based model, if I want to compete somewhat with others. So yeah. Was mine last long because they introduced travel. So it both died and grew in different ways with travel, and obvious reason why they tried to do this, right? Having a lot of people complaining when they got killed and looted, and obviously we have the same problem, right? But what we're trying to do here is build a better system and consequences, a little bit more, I would say, like EVE Online. There will be high security to null security, instead of just cloning it and say this is the PvP world and this is the PvE world. I still believe that we can find a nice combination where we all can meet each other. We are in the same world, and I can go at location but at a high risk. I know if I go here I could be ganked and lose my items, and there's a lawless zone. But I will also learn that if I stay closer to the nations, stay close to guard patrols, I'm more in a high security area, similar to high security in Emo Line. And therefore, if I really want to avoid PvP, I want to avoid being a victim of murder, I can choose to be in those locations more and, consider traveling, restricted in that way that you also did in Emo Line, avoiding some of the nullsec, those lawless zones. But yeah, obviously everyone that started Ultima Line, all of them, if that was completely hooked with Ultima Line, obviously thought that that was the death of a great game, because then you separated that nice combination of a living world. And it has some negative impact. So yeah, we still believe that we can find a nice balanced combination of not fully going there, right? Well, Warcraft gives players almost everything on a silver plate. MO2 feels really rewarding of what you do, and I love it. Yeah, and that's obviously one of the core idea behind Mortal Online, that if you use your brain, you do creative things, and you take action, you can be greatly rewarded and find awesome content in Mortal Online 2. Obviously, you want to make sure that there are proper quality of life. There's less downtime, hurdling around, struggling around that could steal from it. But yeah, it's interesting, because I heard this from a lot of players, and there always needs to be a contrast, right? A lot of people loved Gloria Victis when they launched with the TC, and it's kind of like they have nothing else but TC. They are the opposite of us, and people love the action, straight to it, no downtime, no gear equipment downtime. But after a few weeks, it slowly started to decay. The rush was down, and the glory and reward was, well, why? I mean, I could just jump on more now eventually, right? And I heard a lot of people say that, well, yeah, some people think it's sad that you don't get that instant action Mortal Kombat 2, but when you do get it, holy shit, your adrenaline is pumping the shit out of your vein, and the reward is so freaking satisfying, and you can live on that for quite a while and enjoy it. And everyone said, good fight, holy shit, that was fun. That peak of enjoyment and reward, we need that contrast to reach that peak also a little bit, I guess. It's natural. But obviously, like I said, we wanna give more conflicts, hotspots where you can really go at it without, having too much downtime. And that's also where TC and supply towers comes into play. That we promote a lot of this, and also then we have the relic drops that also we promote to this. So I think with growing population, more of this incentive to hotspots and conflicts, you will have a lot of more of that rush. You can go for it and find it in more locations, and you pick what you want in the game. Well said, Henrik. 100% agree. Yeah, I mean, this is also why I hear from a lot of people playing the game, obviously, that enjoyed, those components in Gloria Victis, but without the reward and the persistent and the other RPG elements and economy, and it felt like, they came back to Modern Line because we have that component, and now finally soon we're also getting the war component, right? And I think that balance is very important for a long-term enjoyment in this type of game. We need the whole spectrum. This is not an arcade game, it's an open world sandbox. Yeah, absolutely. What are relics again? So relics we're planning to add a relic sometime. Again, you will obviously have some impact in this, how early you want it, but sometime after Epic is the plan. We're gonna make a relic rain, like a meteor drop from the sky, shooting down at random location on Mirland, and you will see a heavy trail cross Mirland, so everyone can see it, and you will hear this rumble sound in the background. So all eyes on skies, everyone will see it fall, and you can choose to go there, run there if you want to, but obviously you will be in for a fight if you want to grab that relic. So when it lands, it's gonna be super hot, so no one can touch it because it's gonna melt your gear. So you have to go there, secure the location, or whatever you choose to. That this is completely up to the players, right? And as soon as it cools down, you can grab it, and you won't be able to log out with this item. You can't just the only thing you can is pretty much drop it on the ground or bring it to your TC city and place it in a very specific structure that you will have to build that holds this relic. So it holds it. You're gonna see how epic it looks, and it gives you different types of powers to you and your guild or city. And it's up for grabs for anyone. So if anyone want to steal that relic from you, then obviously they have to siege you, bash it off this building, take it, and run home to their base and place it there to get a bonus from it. So this is a again, if you want to participate in this conflict, there will be different types of relics to fight over and control. Nice, another thing favoring the Zergs. I mean, so there are some natural things that obviously large forces will have a strong impact in this, right? But we are also adding the small scale conflicts, which is the supply towers. So that is why we add the small version first, which is the supply towers, which is not for the Zergs, it's for everyone, including a two-man group. And then later we want to add relic wars, because the relic wars were extremely exciting in Morton 1 and is never ending. And even small groups could have some cool experience out of it, even though they didn't dominate on the field, being outnumbered. But there were always some cool 3-way, 4-way, 5-way conflicts, and sometimes a small group could actually have an impact in a lot of that. So you will see everything from small group content to large group content, if the large groups are obviously active at all places. And like I said, there's going to be many relics. You may not be able to hold them all, and obviously the more you try to hold, then obviously more targeted will be from everyone, and you can do small hits and run. You don't have to do a huge siege commitment. You don't have to wreck a whole city to steal a relic. So again, I think it's a really good mix from small group content to obviously large group. Please tell me this relic system you just spoke of won't be the meteor that will fall. Those should be valuable resources to mine or secure, not above the TC cities. I hope they will be two separate systems. I mean, there will always be different hotspots and things to mine. Sometimes there are real meteorites dropping from the sky that have high value ore, which obviously you can mine, right? But we also have the relics, pure relics from the gods being dropped that you can have an impact on over time, that you can use for different benefits. But usually these relics move around because, you know, you can make a small effective siege to try to steal a relic, and now you hold it. So depends on what are you interested in. Like I said, there will be many different scales of these types of impacts for TC, from small scale to large scale. We need guild towers. Yes, we know. We commented on that. We're gonna add a few flag banner colors, and then again after Epic we plan to add the die guilds system as well. I have no clue about the order, because like I said before, you're gonna help us decide the order of things. We're gonna put up the parameters and you will vote. These are the things we want to see next on the roadmap in that order, right? Yeah, we talked about ropes just like you had. The thing is, in a 3D game with physics like this and the detail of level, it's extremely annoyances and hard to have clothing over another set of armor gear and have that behaving correctly, and it just became a mess quickly, and performance was killing us. And not only that, to produce the content where everything needs to be in this different layer of height on top of each other's or under each other's, holy shit. you know, even though we were 100 developers working on that system, pure hell, and it would take insane time, resources, and performance. So, you know, that's why we said let's put that on the, you know, side for now, because we won't be able to cover that in time. It was much easier in Ultima Online with a 2-day overlay and no impact performance or such in game. You know, quite different to work with. You have 100 devs. No. I mean, if we were granted 100 devs just for that system, it would still be pure hell, because it multiplies everything in chain, from creating every single armor part from start to the future, multiplies every time. And like I said, the pure hell of something overlapping something else, how it displays and how is it not displays. So we said that will be, you know, kill our development if we just focus on that for several months. So that's why we decided that it's not worth it. We can't cover that right now. You don't see it pretty much in any game with the same mechanic. Would there be a relic that reset all relics and let them spawn again? Yeah, we actually had one of those relics in the first game. So when someone uses that one, you kill another one and remove. So there were some different interesting relics that did some spicy things to make them rotate and refresh and remove and come back again over time. We tried to refine that table of relics this time around, because we saw what people enjoyed and how cool it was in the first game, and we tried to refine all that. How many devs are working on Motlon 2 and the chance behind the studio feature, and maybe interview some of them to see what they are working on. So we are still around 40 developers, and that is all kind of areas, you know, everything from pure artists to coders, sound design, testing phases, building content in different ways. So we are a very small team still. 40 developers in doing a game like this is probably one of the smallest in the world for the scale of game we are making. And you know, a lot of people jump in and compare it with World of Warcraft, right? You know, that type of MMO RPG. And why the hell haven't you done that or this? And it's easy to you know, miss that. Yeah, obviously there's some things that are gonna, you know, be a difference when we can't have the same type of resources as those other giants that are doing MMOs. But I think we have come far. We've done something unique. We see a lot of passionate players and followers. And it's awesome to see epic encounters and moments in the game where people really enjoy it that they never could in other MMOs today. That gives us so much energy and fighting spirits. And the future is exciting and bright, and we are getting very close to TC. And after that is the big milestone Epic Games release. And that finally should put us in a exciting position where we can finally start getting awareness again, pick up where we paused everything during the stress test. I mean, I don't know if you remember, guys, if you were part of it, but during the stress test, we kind of got a small explosion. We got a lot of momentum, and almost everyone, we were so surprised. The absolute majority was blown away how refreshing, how cool it was. And they said, this is going to be big in the future. And I can't wait until they reach those different milestones and that type of content. And this can be very exciting. I mean, some of the world's largest streamers picked it up as well. In the worst situation possible, pure chaos and madness. But that gave us a very strong indication that, okay, we're not just talking a few thousand players. This can quickly become large in terms of our size, large for being a very successful project, and quickly allows us again to continue to expand the team and just make the game even better. I mean, we're reaching a point where we obviously want to have a lot more content of everything, and the only thing that restricts that is pure manpower, right? So that is why we want you to help us prioritize the upcoming roadmap. So we pick the right things. But we will love to spend additional developers on more of those areas so more people can enjoy it faster, right? How can small guild solo players cope in TC? Prowess. I commented a lot on this in the TC stream I had dedicated, and also a moment ago here in this stream. There will be plenty of hotspots for small groups. Even 2-man group are gonna be able to, effects with TC and do various things. Obviously, there's always a strength in numbers, no matter what you do in any single game and even real life, right? So if you're standing 5 people against 100 people, then obviously that's not gonna be effective. But there will be so many components spread out in different ways that a large Zerg can't just be everywhere at all time. There will always be room for hit and runs, smaller groups, outlined skirmishes away from the Zerg. There will be plenty of room. So I'm quite excited to see, that more people can also enjoy these components, and there won't just be one thing and it's all out and it's the Zerg that takes it all, right? And most of those people were NI, just reminder. But Russ, I look at the numbers where the players are coming from on Steam data have really good reports for us, and NA stands for 34%. So they're not in total majority, but they're in a big chunk, yes. But combining European countries, and quite a lot from different Asian countries, NA is not the absolute majority. But it also, that can very quickly change depending on when we start marketing again. Then obviously we want to make awareness, we want to invite players from all the world. Obviously that can heavily change, right? And that is why we're investigating having the different continents in the world, different continents, to help with that whole thing. That's because NA players avoid the game. No, they don't. They are, solo biggest continent, but not in total when looking at the different countries, right? USA is one of the biggest country alone, but when you start collecting the different countries in Europe and so on, then it's a little bit different. Yeah, like I said, it's we have a big chunk from America. So that is why, like I said, we are looking into the possibility to host other continents in other locations in the world. So it will be a player choice, where do you want to play? But it will still be connected and travel the entire world and be able to meet anyone in the game. You're not in a separate world. There will not be solo players left after TC. Yes, absolutely. There will be more solo players with TC because, like I said, they will have less issues with conflicts because veterans are bored, so they harass them or kill them or whatever, try to find something fun in the game. So everyone will finally have more enjoyment. Those that don't want to participate in PvP and solo, they're going to have it much more relaxing and can do that. And obviously, finally, those that want PvP and TC and go crazy and war at each other will finally have that option. Happy Panda for everyone! Finally! A little late, yes, I agree, but we have to do it correctly. No, the majority of American players start playing without knowing anything about their ping or where the location is of the server. And some of them, obviously, when they start competing in PvP, they start talking about ping, because everyone can experience a delay where it looks like you hit and doesn't hit, and where you hit in the back and still parry. So when that happens, everyone, including the one that lives in London, starts to ask, why does that happen? Do I have a bad ping? And then one person you have 5 ping, and one person have 120 ping. And then the one with 120 ping says, that's why. Of course, it's not like CS, I need my 11 ping. And that's where the whole debate goes into infinity. And no matter how we explain that, it doesn't matter if you have 100 ping or 5 ping, when you fight or strike or move, there's a difference in parry, how that parry works, and that's why we have a parry window. And then, of course, the higher you get away from the ping normalization, you will slowly add a delay on that. But every single strike is synced. The server decides that. And that's why there's a little delay on every release. There's an animation slow down. And you catch up on that on a third-person client. So it's a very clever system we spent years on since the first game. Day and night difference. In the first game, that system didn't work. Then everyone had a baseline around 500-600 latency, and then you add on top a few more rounds and distance. You were around realistically 800 latency, everyone. So it came down more to ping prediction was the way to fight in Mortal Kombat 1. In Mortal Kombat 2, everyone can fight, and they are very close in the same how they experience it. Because, like I said, even though you have 5 latency live in London, you still have the hit on distance, you have the hit on the back when you think, well, he didn't parry that, there was so much in the back. Everyone experienced that. And the reason everyone experienced that is because this is a real-time, high-detailed combat system over MMO. It's not been done in the same way anymore. And it can't ever be perfect as long as latency is what it is today with fiber. When the technology gets better, then you will see less of that even with 5 ping. So the parry window can't be ping normalized in the same way. And that is why a European player have more time in that parry window compared to someone over 150 something. That window closes down. So obviously that have an impact, right, when it comes to parrying. But that's the reason we have quite the large parry window to make it work at all. And then there will be those that say, stop lying about ping, you don't know what you have created, I know more than you because I'm guessing and I'm cool. And that's fine, we respect that. We respect that. We can only state what we have built and what also the one with 5 ping experience. Everyone experiences the same thing and where the differences is. And that's just what I said. Hopefully over time, we will get better latency across the world, and this will be minimized across the board. But this is also why you don't see this in any other MMO in the world, because it is a challenge, right? And everyone won't accept it. They won't adapt to that there's a distance hit, there's a small delay on things. So it won't be for everyone, right? But it's, very exciting and refreshing and unique compared to everything else. So that's why a lot of people come to Mortal Kombat just to PvP, because we offer that. So it's tricky. It can't be perfect. So we all have to kind of adapt to that. Every veteran learns that you have to parry, even though he's not really in my hitting range, but how a MMO works by now when it comes to this system, that you always parry anyway, because you may get hit if you don't parry. And that's what every veteran have adapted and learned. But a new player would say, what? How the hell could he hit me with a meter distance, right? It takes a while before they also learn that that's how MMORPG latency works. And that is why if you play World of Warcraft PvP, it's a whole different system. Completely different system that we are using. First of all, there's no hitboxes, there's no collision, there's no real-time traces, there's nothing really. There's only a range check and an arc, and that's it. Extremely simplified, and it obviously disguises everything with super glowy effects and fire flying over the world, so it looks like you got hit, right? I mean, we were debating if we should add a visual effect that disguises that distance gap to help with that. But then again, we're also stepping away from Mortal Kombat being gory, realistic, and no rainbow fluff on the screen. But that's some of the things that get affected, right? Then we have those Aussie players that go gank everyone else and dominate the PvP field. Tatsu, are you here, motherfucker? They adapt though, they adapt and are quite good. So there's obviously a lot of player skills involved and knowledge and experience. And the thing is also 1 versus 1 and dueling is only take us that far, right? And, you know, you can like it or not, you know, but where we try to make it fun and exciting, where we try to make it as good as possible, that's in group fights, wars. Then it completely changes and it's more natural, more balanced, and one group teamwork performing completely outperforms the other groups that doesn't have proper colors, proper leads, proper positioning, proper tactics and teamwork. And that's really awesome to see. People are, you know, enjoying that a lot, and we get to see a lot of cool videos and streams when you share that with us. It's really awesome. Game should not be balanced around 1 versus 1. No, and it can't really because of the mechanics, right? We're gonna see, obviously, eventually we add the special abilities and moves. That may change quite heavily. We will see. It's hard to say until we have it on test, right? Yeah, it's really cool to see group fights, and it's pretty cool as well now when you can see every now and then a few cool fireballs and magic in the background. It just adds to this, wow, what the hell, it's a cool battlefield. You know, before it was never any of those balls flying in the air, but only melee, that's it. Now we see every now and then some cool spectacular spells being used in right circumstances can also help with the fights, and it's really cool to see more options to the field, and it just gives a real cool cinematic awesome fight. 2 shot by a fireball. I'm not sure it can be 2 I mean, it depends. If you're a low hit point character, then it can chunk quite a bit damage, yes. But I mean, those fireballs, they're so slow. Open, you are real bad if you get hit by those. So it's tricky for the elementalist to hit those fireballs. They need to release them very perfectly timed, or they won't be much effective. They're quite slow. You can't get 1 shot by a fireball. Holy shit, time is flying, guy. I also have to yeah, if you get tapped by fireballs out in the field, then you deserve to die by them. That's just how it is. You deserve it, and well played to the elementalists. Well played. All right, let's do the giveaway, guys. Exclamation mark MA2, it's open, so sign up if you wanna participate. Or be in a dungeon or behind you while fighting footage. Yeah, like I said, you have to obviously use those spells cleverly, right? To have a great impact. Face on, out in the open, you know, you need to be really bad to be hit. I mean, it happens sometime, and obviously... But yeah, in crowded space, around corners, surprise attacks. People have to adapt to that as well, you know? Remember, now I'm chasing a group around a corner. Could there be something flying in my head? Bam! Holy shit. The brain power. Exclamation mark MO2. Indeed. Bam! 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 Bang. Bang. Do you have echo, guys? Is it only me that echo? Or is it you also? Major echo. Chickaboo. Chickaboo. This is how I play in the dungeons when I role play with you guys. So if you hear this, it may be me in the ugly dungeon. Yep.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's do. Let's give it a minute.
Before we roll it. Chickaboom! Crazy, crazy. Need a Morgan Freeman voice. That's true. We need that. We need that. Henrik is the Riddler. No minute rule now. Minuli needs more stuff. Ritualism love coming anytime soon. I mean, rising a week. Come on, man. Come on. Someone having too much fun. What's wrong with you, man? Bardo showed him the clownfish. You know, I had a long day today, a lot of stress. I need to, fuel off. I need to relax. So my brain power endure the entire TC period, right? No root today. Thumbberry. What up, stinky eye? Or sick eye? What is it? Sick eye or stink eye? Relax. It's a good song. We need to play it. We need to play it. Face looks red. I'm not that red. I'm not burnt. I'm not that much in the sun, but it's my light here, my camera. It picks up strange colors. If you look at my beginning, I'm orange for some reason. And in the end of the stream, I became a little bit more natural. Singing it even better. God, is that you? Henrik, will you add getting married in game? I make a profession where people can use points to marry other people. Yoshikami, we have to see. So I'm obviously looking forward to the community debate when it comes to the how do we build the upcoming roadmap together as a community. And if we see a lot of people pointing out something that we didn't have directly in mind, we may pick that up, right? We're going to present to you what we know have a lot of value and some of them to pick from, and that we also know that there's a lot of interest in already. Like I said, if we see that we are being overwhelmed by a completely new thing that we haven't listed, we can always see if that's something that, a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So don't listen to community. That's my community inputs. Justin. So what I mean is that we're not just going to say, here we are. What do we know? So like I said, we have a pretty good indication of what players are looking for in the different areas of the gameplay. But there's a few things where we say, well, it doesn't matter for us in what order we add them, but it may be a big impact for the community. If 80% want us to add this before the other one, that helps us, right? Makes more people happy in that upcoming patch, right? That's where we need your help. Henrik, is a color changing mobile confirmed? What polish are considering with necromancy post elementalism? So there's a few things with necromancy we are refining. One is the controlling undead, and I don't remember the exact list, but we have some notes on some of the spells that we want to change and tweak. Tagmatin is coming. Can I comment if it's coming out in the western side of the map as a dungeon? Roma didn't leak that, lucky saint. Roma didn't leak that. You're lying. Can we get some type of vendor stall we can set up or rent out in towns to sell items? So you will be able to profit from your city if a lot of people are using it for trades. There's a taxation. So it depends on how you run your city, what purpose and how popular. And there's some documentation on this on the website. And soon you're going to be able to test it on our public test servers. We're going to announce a date soon. We just want to pass a few more sessions so we know that we can deliver that. And then we're going to set a date where you will be able to jump in on our public test server and play the crap out of TC. We're going to most likely cut cost in half and such so you can more effectively, get going. Yeah, so we plan to do a pass. So first we're gonna finish elementalism, right? And then we're gonna do a pass on the other schools, some refinements before we proceed on the next school. Can I steal the taxes and give back to the poor? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You will be able to. I think will you be adding staffs? Yes, there's a whole school called Magic Staff. And there's a high chance Magic Staff is the next upcoming school after elementalism and the refinement of the other schools, if that is what you vote for. So I think we're going to have Magic Staff, mentalism. What the hell do we have more? I mean, we're progressing quite steadily now in the schools. Which were the two other schools we thought we would add as an option for you to vote for? At least staff magic and mentalism. And yeah, animism. Yeah, could be the third one. And I'm not sure if we had a fourth to vote for at this time. Maybe only those three. I'm not sure if bards. Maybe yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the fourth one. Bard require a whole new instrument system as well, right? So we're gonna go through what they require, so we don't pick insanity school, and have to spend way too much time on something. We did overdo it a little bit on elementalism. Mats went quite deep in the old lore, and it gave us a shitload of spells. And I mean, there's so many spells that it's like 3 schools in one. It takes time, right? So we're careful with the upcoming schools to be very precise, effective, high value in every spell, and different usage for every spell. But yeah, staff magic is a really cool school, I would say. It's 2 components. One is the mastering of staffs, where you have to construct a magical staff in a very cool way with crafting. The other component is obviously spell casting with the staff, right? So So you use your staff and cast spells, and you can also obviously swing the staff and pair with the staff. It's not an optimal weapon. You could make it as effective as possible as a melee weapon, but then it may also have some weaker magical powers, so you may have to choose more magical powerful, or a mix, or more melee powerful and less magical powerful. But there's some really cool spells that are unique to that school bound with the staff. Yeah, and so we're also looking to offer 2 different types of styles of the staff mage. One is maybe a little bit more traditional Gandalf-like, the other one is a little bit more the monk-like. So if you go more stronger for the monk direction, you have that style, or the more magical, less monkey fighter. You know what I mean. So it's an interesting school. Pretty cool.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one, eh? Josan, thank you for the subscription. 30 month. Go TC, go Dice System, go Guild logos, go Mounted Combat rework. Holy cow, but indeed. TC is next. Dice System after Epic and the logo system. Mounted Combat rework. I'm not sure what you mean with the rework parts. Will staff magic require regents? Yes, there will be some requirement there, and obviously the key component is also your staff, right? So you will invest a lot of time and effort into the staff, and we're looking to make sure that that investment can partially be transferred to your new staff if your staff break or get lost, because obviously when you lose your staff, you're quite gimped as a staff mage. But we don't want you to invest 3 months of research on tying magical powers into your master staff and then bam, literally lost in 1 minute. So we're looking into a system that allows you to kind of transfer some of that investment, so you can kind of get back on track without complete wipe for your power. So we have some interesting concept that makes staff magic quite different from the other schools. What's the giveaway about? A copy of Mortline 2. So if you type !MO2, I'm gonna roll it in just a minute, and you will have a chance for that. I can't say when we will have the kite shields. Now we have the biggest and largest one. We are still missing a few components for the tower shield before we're happy with the position of those. If, again, the community wants those kite shields on the upcoming roadmap, you can make your voice heard in the community when we open up that debate. Will staves have durability? Yes. So eventually they will obviously decay and run out. Remove tower shields? No, we obviously plan to refine them a little bit to make sure they have their option in the game. Their passive reward is too great in PvP. We are looking to change that. And they shouldn't be used on mounts. That's too big component that obviously put them in a better line where it needs to be. And also to make sure that small shields have a field, is that those could be more effective in the passiveness, because you can bypass them by aiming properly and be rewarded by doing so. But if you hit the small shield, they may be reducing that very effectively, right? So it still makes sense to have those in some cases, while the big ones are, general better defense in terms of not getting hit effectively, but they may bleed through more because, you're still getting a whack in your ass. It's still gonna hurt when you have the shield on your back. Whack in the ass, And we get kite shield. I just said, you decide when the kite shield comes on the upcoming roadmap. So during this stream, we already have what do we have? I even forgot. But there's been several questions for these different things, right? And we're not sure what the majority wants. So we want you to help us pick the prioritized order. Arcane, just you wait. Just you wait. Fishing update. There will eventually be a fishing update. We have a few rods finished. We just need to put them in the crafting system. So there's a few components and then we can have quite a lot more content for fishing. But we can't do it right now, as you know. Alright, should we do the giveaway, guys? I think it's time. Yeah, I hit the 2-hour mark already, so I'm a little overdue. Animism. If that's what the people of Magic vote for, that may be the school. Sharks. We need to wait a little bit more before we have underwater AI. Do we get customization chat window? Eventually, yes. We need some tools, options with the chat window for sure. Why make staff magic into a separate school though? Why not be able to use staff with every school? It doesn't really work that. We have a dedicated staff school. You invest in that style and school, research, profession, a lot of skills involvement, and it's just one of a kind, you know, very unique and very cool in its own way. Just like animism will be unique in its own way. Symbolism will be extremely unique in its own way. Mentalism will be very, very cool as well. All right, it's giveaway time, guys. Let me charge the Lolo. The bird of the Lolo. Where the hell do we have the... All right. Good luck, everyone. Here goes the... Dual wield is one of your options you're going to have on our roadmap as well. So, yeah, there's already plenty in today's stream that people are asking for. Different types of weapon groups, different types of armor groups, fishing updates, bounty hunting update. But we have more. Magic school. You see, we already have quite a few areas. And we want you to help us pick the order of those. I mean, they will all come over time, right? The question is what order? We want to pick the most bang for the buck so most people can enjoy a lot of things before we continue forward, right? All right, giveaway, guys. Giveaway. Good luck, everyone. Congratulations, Sleeve 79. Congratulations, Sleeve 79. Rigged, eh? Sleeve 79. Are you here, my friend? He's not here. Rigged. Always rigged. Come on, man. Come on. Let's see. Are you here, Sleeve 79? Are you here, Sleeve? Let's give him a few minutes before it's a reroll. Off. Nice. Did not think it will take so long until a win. So you are here, Sleeve. Congratulations again. Awesome. Let me bring you the code. Let's see. Where do we have it? We have it here. Sleeve. How you doing, Sleeve? What's your mortal age? What's your rank? If you don't mind me asking, Sleeve. Definitely not here. Speech, sleeve. Speech. Give it to us, sleeve. What's your H? What's your H in Mortal? Your rank, your veteranish level or so, you know. We want to know. If you care sharing. Clay level. Thank you, Wills. Thank you. Since beta, but not really active at the moment, I will give the key to a friend. Hope he will also play. Awesome, awesome. Don't touch grass. All right, all right. So that is today's giveaway. I'm a little slow on the topic updates, guys. Sorry about that. But you know how it is. Is it the sleep from Wolfshite? Wolfshite? Wolfsheet? Wolfsight? You're breaking my tongue with that name. Good night, RPMs. We need more players, and we will, and we shall. Like I said before, it's a two-edged sword. We don't want to invest marketing while we know we're not 100% ready, right? We haven't got the complete polish. We haven't got the long-term loops for veterans. We haven't got the new player experience update. We want to get those in place, and we get that with the next patch TC and the next patch Epic Game patch. Those two steps, right? That's when we want to whip it hard. And that's when we want all your help to make awareness. And hopefully we will grow steadily every month under control. And we can expand our team. We can expand the world and features more effectively. The subscription is planned for when this happens. Like I said, when we hit the final stage, the final milestone, which is the release on Epic Game platform, the new player experience and all of that. That's also when we start the free month. And then after that is the subscription planned for. Yes, we are looking to refine Haven a little bit as well, gang spanked. A few things we want to eventually restrict clade levels. You don't, you can only get a few clays over there. We want to refine the whole experience. We want to add a few more components that makes it feel more like I can do a few adventures on Haven. I can do a few achievements, get my clades. I can get some skills, get going. I learn some stuff. And I also can do some dungeon hunting and actually gain a cool cape or something rewarding that I know that I can do these fun steps and I can expand my character, and then I may be ready to take the step to Midland. So we wanna refine that step a little bit, because as you know, eventually we want to do Haven free to play. Actually, that could be a really good component to get more hesitant players getting a try the game before they commit and going to Midland, right? Along with the test server be active for TC. So the first one, I'm not entirely sure exactly how long, but we're not planning to have it too long, especially the first one, because we want to have heavy focus on certain things and follow up on those quickly. And then we want to do a rebuild and update, and I'm sure you're going to find bugs or issues. We're going to cover those, and then we plan to have a follow-up test again, to make sure we have that under control and have those refinements in a good step. And that's also where we are planning to close the whole thing and prepare for the pushing it live after that, as long as we have fixed everything, right? So we will soon announce on our website or even in one of my stream how that setup is going to look, what date we are expecting to start the public first testing phase. So we're going to announce that date and obviously give you the information of how to jump on there. And also going to prepare a list of focus, what we need help with and how things work, so we can have an effective test phase. Yeah, the baseline is $14 US for the subscription. We will have discounts if you commit to 3 or 6. You will have quite a decent discount. What about the game population that would drop quickly at this release? Why would it drop? Or do you mean increase? So part of the TC test, we're also planning final server updates, structure tests, and measurements, so we can hopefully get some final numbers on capacity on Milan as well. Subbing to a full load gamer, turn a lot away. I mean, just like Ultima Online, World of Warcraft, EVE Online, a few more games that are using the subscription model, you know what you're getting. You're not getting shit, you're not getting pay to win, you're not getting locked content, any of that microtransaction that costs more than $14 if you want to be anything valid or compete. We're not going that route. We wanna be able to grow slowly but steady, under control, and being able to obviously cover those expenses and hopefully grow and expand and be successful over time. You know, if people want free-to-play game, pay-to-win, microtransaction, locked content, then obviously this is not that model, right? But we really hope that a big chunk of our customer base are interested in this type of game, enjoy that model, because it protects the game, gives you a better product, better game, less cheaters, less crap. And that's what we want for this game, right? So, but yeah, you know, no one knows exactly what kind of numbers we're looking at when subscription is enabled. I'm sure obviously some gonna drop, but I also hope that, like I said before, we don't need that many subscription to break even, and we don't need many more to be able to expand quickly. So that's one of the exciting things with this company. The margin is so small, it quickly changes for us to be, you know, expandable and a successful state. It's not like Blizzard, we need X amount of millions dollars and you know, to break even or get back the investment, right? It's extremely small amount of subscriptions and sales we need to just take that first step as break even, and then very quickly after that we can expand if that gives us the means to. So yeah, hopefully people will see that buying one beer and a sandwich a month and you can play thousands of hours and get a truly unique gaming experience like no other. Fair game, no locked content, no shit. And, you know, hopefully people, you know, enjoy that and want to support that. And that allows us to push Mortal Online further, faster, better. I will leave if subs don't become a thing. Avoid pay to win always. That is our goal. Like I said, we can only hope, right, that you know, share that view and think that that is better for the gaming experience, because it absolutely is. I'm a gamer. I played everything, all types of MMOs, from free to play, pay to win to subscription based models, and I pick every day in the week a subscription model, because then I know there's no crap hindering my gameplay, and I know we're all on the same page when it comes to how I can do things in the game. You know, when you start those free to play game, it starts like, holy shit, it's so fun and rewarding and it's cool. Then bam, the first waltz comes. You need to pay $5, and bam, another $7, bam, and $12, bam, and then all of a sudden you pay $200 freaking dollars a month, and you think, what the hell did I do? What did I get? Those things I bought first, those are crap now because I'm higher level, so I can throw all that away. So I already missed all that investment, and then the other investments, you know, it's terrible, but I understand it's a exciting business model for many games, and they you know, those whales out there that just throw money at it to be the best, you know, that shapes the games forward. And I hope that we together can shape a better game moving forward and show the market that you don't always have to sell away for all that crap. You know, maybe we are a little bit older, a little bit more mature, that can, you know, support that subscription model and know that we're getting something more long-term investment of quality game in return. But you know, it's hard to say. Hard to say. Yellow Immortal looking at you, eh? Yeah. I even played what the hell is it called? They have marketing everywhere. Raids of Legend. What the hell is it called, guys? You know what I'm talking about. Raids of Legends. Raid. Something like that, right? Insane marketing across the world. So many players. Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends. And I got a little addicted. And then bam, the freaking micropayments, the psychology on those games, it works. You know, I want a few more heroes. Let's buy those freaking crystals, whatever they were called. You know, everything locked, and the only way to proceed and achieve to the next level, you had to start paying. And it's freaking sneaked up on me until I said, what the hell is going on? I'm paying way too much on this, and I'm just throwing it away afterwards, right? I've been playing Raid every day without playing. I did that also first on the side, but eventually you feel I don't have time for this. I wanna you know, get to this stuff, and you stop paying just $5. You know, that's the sneaky part. $5, nothing. You pay it, and once you pay the $5, it can be doomed. It can be all over, because then you pay just 19 this time. They have a really good offer, only $50 and get all of this, and then holy shit, what the hell are you doing? It's like buying 5 games in one freaking microtransaction. I understand the power and magic behind it, but the game become like, after a while, when you realize what the hell is going on, it's not a good investment anymore, and you can't have that enjoyment, and you have to keep doing that to enjoy it. And only, you know, some players can do that, some people can do that, and it's all actually mostly making its huge profits by the whales that just throw insane money at it. So it's extremely pay to win, and that's not fair, right? You get to suffer as a player if you don't throw more and more money at it. I would hate that would be anything like that in Mortal Online. I want everyone to enjoy it at fully and enjoy everything and be happy to get that enjoyment in return of a small set fee that we know this is it, right? Time will tell. I really hope so. The team hopes so. And we see a lot of support from you guys that is the most suitable approach for this type of game, and it's best for the game. But we will see, right? There will obviously be the new generation that are hooked with free-to-play games. Obviously may say, well, why the hell don't you make it free-to-play like 90% of the rest on the market? My mom wanna give me weekly salaries where I spend those money, you know. That will obviously be the case for some, right? I agree with Henrik, and for he and his team, it means stability. Yeah, that too. I mean, obviously, in our cost, right? Salaries is not a cheap thing. That's the big component, all the salaries. And then we have the server costs, rents, right? You know, that's the minimum requirement we need to cover this project and continue working on it. And we will love to be able to expand even further to give you more content faster and more efficiently. And obviously, that's where the, you know, income comes. We need to be able to cover those costs. How long ago was 15 a month the gold standard of MMO games? With inflation, that same 15 a day is nothing. I will take the deal and shut up your face, bro. Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to be able to afford 15 a month, $14 a month. Obviously, right? You need some kind of income to be able to afford that. But just looking at the market today, so many people today have Spotify, Netflix, Prime, Disney. They have a shitload of, you know, subscription on all these different services, and quite of them are quite expensive, right? and some of them don't even use them. So, you know, scrap one of those and add Mortal to get thousands of hours of enjoyment, if you enjoy Mortal 9, that is, right? Imagine not using free streaming service. I mean, I would bet that the majority in here has at least one of those that I just mentioned, right? And paying for them monthly. Heck, I even had all of them for a while until I noticed, holy shit, I'm paying for all of those. So I canceled them all but Netflix and Spotify. I do use Netflix every now and then. We use it here at my home, so we get some return. And, you know, I like to listen to music. I just put on Spotify, you know. But maybe I'm old school. Do you guys not use any of those services that I just mentioned and actually paying for them? Jade, if you go for a 3 or 6 month, you're gonna have a better price for our subscription as well. So if you know you enjoy Mortal 9, you get a lot of return, you can commit to one of those bigger package and you're gonna have a decent discount for sure. Better discount and price than what World of Warcraft offers. And I mean, like I said, we just want to find where we can. First step obviously break even, right? That's the minimum for us. We don't want to cut down the team. That would be moving in the wrong direction. And then of course we very quickly want to go for the next level. That is slowly but steady under control, grow and expand, so we can make the game even better, faster. So it's also more bigger commitment on every big patch, which obviously going to be more fun for the players also. I saw that EVE Online increased their subscription to insane amounts. What was it, like $30 or something? That was a surprisingly big leap, or what was it? I don't remember. It was quite a long time ago I played EVE. I Prime, HBO, Netflix, Paramount, all of them because it's cheaper than cable. Yeah, I mean, like I was guessing, right, that most in here have at least one of those, right? It's quite common today. So it's more like the games have switched from that as a standard to microtransaction, but that costs you more and you get a worse game experience. I think it's important that we make a... I mean, us the players, you the players, have the power to change what game should be and how the model should be, right? If we keep throwing millions at free-to-play and locked shit and pay to win, that's what you're gonna get, because the suit guys that makes the calls want to copy those. If we together can make Mortal 9 successful, grow, and show that, you know, that can be a long-term investment to be a solid game and solid business with a subscription model, there will be more of those over time, because that's how business work. That's why Eve is dead. Did Eve die? Wasn't a long time ago I took a look on it and they were doing quite good actually. I haven't followed it the latest month though, so I have no clue. It's around $20 a month now. Okay, so a small increasement. 20. Okay. Yeah, quite. I mean, I guess inflation, they had to increase their sub. I don't know. Yes, we will offer discounts 1, 3, 6, maybe even a year. If we really know that you're playing Mortal 9 every now and then, you can make a commitment and get a pretty nice discount. Yeah, I know about the Plex system they implemented also in EVE. The seed guys are essentially scalpers. I mean, they do their job, right? They look at the numbers to see how do we maximum profits and take a look at the games. So, you know, that's why we're also WoW clones since WoW, pretty much, because everyone want to compete with that. And obviously, you know, Amazon, New World, they had resources to compete with WoW, right? So why wouldn't they compete with the biggest? Makes sense, right? And then when they see so many small, strange games make so much on microtransaction, pay to win, obviously that's why we see more of that. I tried to find a good game on my mobile or something just for the fun of it, to take a look on some of that, where I can pay for it and play for it fully, play through it. But there's not a single one. All of them are free and locked by microtransaction. It's crazy how dominated it is. And it's so bad gaming experience. And all the new young generation get birthed into it and know nothing else. It's poor. It's sad. We could have so much better games today. Yearly sub would be appreciated. Yeah, I think we're looking at, like I said, 1 for those that are unsure, then 3, 6, and 1 year, and so you have those options. And obviously, the bigger discount, the bigger commitment. Can I pay extra for PvE only? Like I explained before, you're getting more PvE and you're getting more security areas, a little bit like even line with the security zones. So, I mean, obviously there's a huge audience that are very excited about exploring, play interaction, trading, PvEing, and want to avoid a little bit more of the extreme PvE. I mean, PvE won't always be fully avoided. We all know that, right? But obviously there are player groups that really want to dig into the other spectrum. So it's important to offer some of that. And then, of course, now with TC, we're offering a shitload of PvP content as well, right? Got 12 accounts. That's crazy, Sins. That's crazy. They give you 50 per account for a year. How can you have? How could you have that many? Wouldn't you just want to focus on a few ones and your guildmates take care of the rest? Remember when New World was supposed to be a full loot PvP game? That greed changed the whole game. Yes, they looked at the numbers and the suit guy said, we will get this many more if we skip PvP and full loot. And that's why we are doing it. Of course, a lot of people got upset. But they had numbers that were pointing that if they do that, they can reach out to more people. And, you know, they did a decent sale. I'm not sure how much in total they have done for that game. You know, they had their ups and downs, right? But that's also why we have a much less commitment. We are not a team of 800 developers investing billions. We are just a fraction of that, right? So we need so little more of, you know, in sales and subscriptions to actually first break even and then start being able to expand and grow. So the risk is way smaller, right? And we know that there are a hell of a lot more players, you know, out there that will allow us to be able to become successful, just tapping into these types of games that are extremely popular. You know, Rust, Valheim, Tarkov. A lot of those players feel at home and enjoy Mortal Online. And then surprisingly, we have, you know, more and more slowly WoW players finding our game, being a little bit scared off and think it's harsh. But if they manage to surpass that or even join a nice guild, bam, they're not looking back. They got converted. They don't want to play theme parks anymore. They want to play Mortal Online. But we need these components with TC and Epic Game release. Those components are needed before we can rush, you know, push towards all those players hard again and pick up marketing. And hopefully we get Lyric and those guys, Shroud, picking up the game, taking a little look on the progression. And, you know, there can be even a good chance that Shroud really enjoyed the game because, heck, he enjoyed Ultima Line. You know, he enjoyed those type of MMOs. He is a good gamer. He can play these type of games. He don't cries, you know. So it's gonna be interesting to see, right? When will Animism make its debut? Will the game be completed and implemented prior to subscription? Animism is sometime after Epic. And Epic is our big milestone where we have those things that I mentioned in place, and we'll start the first the free month and then subscription. So depending on your vote, we will see how that next roadmap looks like. If it has Animism on it early on or late on or not even on that, that is up to the community. Except the game to be hardly playable for a while when Epic Games and UF5 happen. It's hard to say, right? It's hard to say. Obviously, we're not starting with maximum marketing when we take those steps just to follow up and, you know, prepare for that because there's always a awareness when you release on Epic Game platform. There's some standardized marketing steps just like on Steam. And depending on our numbers, we know obviously we are working on plan B to be able to scale up if we see that it's way out of control, too many want to play, the queue is not acceptable, and of course we need to address plan B. I'll vote for MO2 on Lyric sub Sunday. Cybergene, yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, I enjoyed Lyric stream Immortal so much. It was a perfect match for him, and he really enjoyed the game, and the audience had a lot of enjoyment. So I think it was a really solid stream. He did a couple of streams, and I watched them entirely, and I had a blast. I laughed so much because he's awesome. I fully understand why he's a successful streamer and so many people enjoy watching him because he's so freaking funny on its own. No matter what he says, it's super funny, hilarious, right? He's a really cool dude. I like watching his streams. So it felt really special when he streamed Mortal Line 2 and was, you know, how he always is. And the cool part was that he could role play and do all these shenanigans in Mortal Line and just have a laugh. And the audience really loved it. So it was really, really, really good. So yeah, hopefully we can all, as an army, vote and tell him go back to Mortal 9 because it has a huge improvement and updates, and hopefully he can join in and have some shenanigans again because it was really, really fun to watch. A fun game on Lyric stream. Yeah, that's awesome, Cybergene. That's awesome. I mean, you have a huge audience, right? So obviously that's a really powerful marketing step also. Lyric is a really big streamer on Twitch TV. He played quite regularly all types of different games, but he's a really good gamer. That's, you know, at first, you know, Mortal 9 is quite harsh, right? And without the newbie steps and tutorial, I wouldn't thought that he would survive 1 minute. I thought he would just quit because too hard. You need to, you know, dedicate some time and investment to get into the game, right? But that Lyric really beat it, you know. He got quickly into the combat, did quite okay, right? To be new. He beat the bandits and all that without effort. And then he role-played the crap out of everyone he met. And it was so funny because he met another random guy that also role-played. And it was such a perfect match. And he met one more time later. And it was just epic. If you saw it, it was really, really epic. So no doubt that he enjoyed the stream and everyone watching it enjoyed it. And people got interested in Mortal 9 because, yeah, it offers something unique. Hopefully we'll be able to revisit because a lot have happened, obviously, since then and also up till Epic Game, there will be so much more stuff that improve that first experience for a player. Type the name, please. I'd like to search for it. Lyric. I don't know if you can go back that long time. Does anyone know if it saves that far? He's even streaming now with 50,000 viewers. You have 2.9 million followers. So yeah, as you can understand, when you play Mortal Line for several hours and really enjoyed it, people found their way in Mortal Line. So really awesome. And he's one of the biggest streamers that understood the game and enjoyed the game. That was what was awesome. He's a good gamer. He beats games. He plays a lot. A little bit different than when Asmongold played Mortal Line. First off, he hates first-person games. Not a really good match already there, right? He thought the depth and crafting was awesome, but then when he was gonna fight in first person and didn't figure out how to fight, and he actually had a really low FPS, like an old computer, which was quite surprising for being such a big streamer and YouTuber. But anyway, it was a little bit harsh. So, but still, any marketing awareness is good for a game, right? Because we know the game is not for everyone, but it will be a lot for many still. Yeah, Clean was back a few days ago in one of the recent patch to take a look. He's lurking, and he likes the game and he's following it, and he's also been waiting for some of these things that are slowly coming now. So I think Clean will be back for some TC action. That's the impression he gave us, at least when he was playing. I don't know when it was, a few weeks or something. But yeah, he's a cool guy as well. I think Clean is a really nice streamer and awesome dude. So yeah, my goal is obviously to, with your help, let's reach out to them all, poke them a little bit, invite them back on when we are ready for some cool experience. I think it would be a very huge difference and a really solid state with Epic Games, and new players will have a much better experience, much higher rate of staying in the game when they enter Milan as well. And they're not going to be lost there when they have a solid expanded task system. Because I noticed that even as late as yesterday, a new streamer started playing, went through the Haven stuff tutorial without any problems, because you know they know how that works. But as soon as they came to Milan, they were walking around, seeing all these people running around and dueling, and they said, "What do I do now, guys? What do I do now?" And you know, many people obviously that knows what to do in the game, but there's so many that are coming from nowhere, a little bit casual players. We can't just have them, you know, without any direction. So I think it's good to give them at least some option, direction, some tasks. Okay, I can do these things at least. I have something to do. And then over time, hopefully they will learn what more they can do without, you know, following that, right? And more content and stuff out in the world. So no matter direction they go, there are some large areas that have nothing, feels too empty. If a new player goes in that direction, there's a big chance they'll log out after a while. Again, not good. We need to have more content, more incentive for them to, shit, there's a lot of cool things I want to explore and experience and find and do. So we build that up, right? They're planning on going console. We actually had a discussion with Microsoft a month ago. They're expanding, they're working hard to add games to their subscription models to offer games. There's a few components that they want our game to fulfill for us to be listed on something like that. They both have console and they also have PC subscription. I don't remember their platform names, but they want to expand that. They were interested in Mortal Line too. We want to hit a certain polish. There's a few components, right? Again, Epic Game milestone is one of those things we want to reach. Also converting to a console support is obviously also quite a commitment, because we need to work a lot on the whole user interface and all that. But it's not completely excluded, you know. I mean, it's not a definite no. It's just that right now we only have time to dedicate for PC, this platform, right? But like I said, that door is, you know, open there. It's more, again, do we have resources? Again, if we get support, growing populations, the subscription we needed, and we can keep on expanding, we can cover everything we need in the development, we could dedicate port developers and support consoles, you know, it's possible. But it all comes down to, again, our resources. Hope so. I haven't been able to play since my PC died. That sucks, Yokai. That sucks to hear. A streamer goes through the 2K followers and subs they are capable of getting quickly.
Another one.
What? What I hate the idea of having more than one character. I don't hate the idea. There are many pros and cons. I'm just trying to. We have explained several times, several streams, what it means, what we have done, what we want to promote in the game, and that we also still have the diva system that is a multiple character per account, like a sibling, shared last name, shared status in different forms, because we want reputation and characters to matter. We want commitment to your character, and that you choose the roles and professions, and your friends and other players contribute with what you're missing, a trade, a play interaction. We want to promote it as much as possible. But then we also fully understand that, yeah, there's so much to choose from, right? That people may want to multi-play many things, you know? We understand that part also, which obviously comes, that's when the diva system, we call it, comes into place. So, like I said many times, you know, it's not that we hate it totally and it's an absolute no. It's just that we invest a lot of time in rebuilding the skill system and the character and clade system from the first game, because we got a lot of complaint in the first game, like, Henrik, it feels like I'm not committing to my characters. I don't care about them. I don't even know the names because I have so many characters, because I want to craft everything. I want to be self-dependent, and it feels like a job, and I hate being a crafter, but I have to be the crafter. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So we rework the system. We want you to play only what you love. Choose the profession, if you want to, that you love. Do those trades, and if you don't like it, you shouldn't be forced to be a trader or a crafter. You should trade or have guild friends that loves to do it and want to be that role and have that strength in your guild. So we want to promote that, and we want you to feel that you can do more things on one character, you have more depth, and you care about your character, and it's a reputation. So a lot of work have been added to this to try to promote. Similar to Star Wars Galaxies, you could only do one character in that system, and you have to pick carefully. You can change it whenever you want over time. Like, you know, if I don't like these skills, I can change them. And, you know, the rest is my guild friends or other traders. You see what I mean, right? So that's why we worked on expanding this. But we understand that still that won't be enough for everyone. A lot of people want to crush through it. They want to be everything. They want to have different styles. A lot of people are hardcore. And again, many of those games, even Evil Lion and Star Wars Galaxies, people are not happy with that, and they bought more accounts because that's how they want to play it, right? So we had the whole view of this entire thing, pros and cons, right? So yeah, so like I said many times, after Epic, we will obviously evaluate the Diva system and see, you know, how could something fit in Mortal Line 2, what's best for the game, and so on. What about melee skills? What about them? So are you asking about the special moves that we're gonna add on the after Epic Games? We're gonna have that on the roadmap as a option. If that's what people want first, we're gonna add them first. I suspect that the majority wants to have the special moves because it offers a lot for everyone with fighting skills, not only PvP but also PvE. All playstyles are gonna have more tactical options, which is cool and fun. And it could also break the a little bit boring 1 versus 1 dual meta and give even more tactics on the battlefield, right? So we're gonna add it there. I want it early on, and I think you're gonna support it to be early on. So it could be the, you know, one of the first after Epic that we wanna add to the game, because I think it's gonna bring a lot. And it could also refine the combat. Those that really don't like it, it's a lot of spinning, disguising, feints. You will have more options here, so you can play a little bit of a different style also. And we may take the opportunity to restrict that spin a little bit, because it's too generous compared to most other games that also allow spinning. So I think everyone would benefit from having more cool options to fight, everything from melee to ranged, right? So it will be there, close to Epic.
People sometimes coding with us. I mean, we'll do live coding sessions. Their code is not working, and then they'll say, "Oh, you need to do this," and we'll fix it. So, you know, please join us. Make sure you're following us on AWS.
Where farming bandcamp is not worth the time. I mean, all bandcamps are heavily populated constantly by small groups. So obviously, it's worth it for them, right? They're quite dominated by small groups and sometimes solo players. So obviously there's a value in band camps. But they need some love after all these mage stuff. Yeah, like I said, and I think everyone would benefit from it. So I think I want to push it, and I think we're gonna have your support. That let's add one round of melee love after Epic. We're planning to add 3 or 4 special moves for each weapon category, and they were gonna be quite trivial for engaging interesting battle. You can do parry breakers, so you can engage with being offensive also. You don't always have to wait for the parry counter. There will be more options. And I think most people will agree and vote for that. That, yeah, you know, it's time to get more option when it comes to combat and the different weapon groups, because that will also make it very interesting to utilize the different weapon groups in cool different ways. For instance, the cleave mechanic with axes, gonna be pretty interesting, right? You can jump in a squad of enemies and just cleave through them all, bam, if you hit them all, that is. So there are gonna be some interesting mechanics that obviously makes it very interesting in the battlefield for all the weapon groups. Oh, these abilities are going to have a cooldown. So we're experimenting a little bit here. My initial thought here was to have that, yeah, a cooldown and a cost with stamina. But then we're looking at an interesting system that refines it, that balances it in a way. So, you know, I've talked about, if you remember, the adrenaline system I talked about in Dimension. And all of a sudden, when I went through these two systems, it makes sense that they works together. They tie together. They works as one system. So what I mean here is that the adrenaline system was supposed to have help small single players to also battle Zergs and adding more options and skills to the gameplay. And all of a sudden I see where, hey, that fits with the special moves. So very roughly now, if you imagine that if you take damage, you take hits, you have an adrenaline meter that goes up quickly. If you pass damage, you gain a little bit. So that means if you fight outnumbered, you're gonna have more adrenaline rush than your opponents, because, you know, they're chill, they're 2 against 1, you're fighting for your life because you're outnumbered. It makes sense, your adrenaline rush goes through the roof, right? And when you get that additional adrenaline on your meter, you can distribute, you can use this adrenaline for some different things, like you can utilize them on special moves, so you can obviously use those special moves more frequently than your opponents with less adrenaline. And you can use that adrenaline to get a little rush, like faster stam rush, a little burst of energy. If you use that wisely, you could have, you can utilize being outnumbered. Do you see what I mean? So all of a sudden makes sense to tie the special moves into this system. So if you're in a battle, you take a lot of damage, you pass a lot of damage, you're gonna be able to use those special moves a lot and constant pretty much. But if you're in a one-on-one duel, you know, it may be a little bit more reserved. You can use them a few times. You have to choose which one you use and time them perfectly. So that's kinda what the design is looking at right now when I've gone through them a few times and refining them, that it kind of makes sense that they fits together. So if you see what I mean here. So that is the special move now. It ties with the adrenaline system. It's the one and same currently on design. So yeah, obviously we're gonna when we decide and have scheduled this, we're gonna put that on test as well. So it will help us to test the crap out of it and get it in a proper balance and make sure that they're all useful, right? We don't want a special ability for one weapon group that are a waste, and we don't obviously want one that are so powerful that everyone goes that weapon group. So we plan to add that also in a public test round session where you're focused on only that or mainly that, and we want to try to get that in a good position and then push that live. Melee range away. What do you mean? So, I mean, we have the cleave, which is kind of like an array, right? Like you cleave in an arc. So if there's two people in that arc, both of them are gonna get hit. That's one of the axe special abilities. Range. I mean, we are gonna add throwing weapons and crossbow weapons eventually, so you'll be able to throw weapons as well. But that's when we decide that to be one of the focus on the roadmap. I don't know that yet. But ranged, as in archery, will also get its special moves. We're talking about quick draw, multiple shots, and a parry mode for ranged. Those are some of them that we're looking at. That mages cast and change direction while on horseback. So in 1 minute we heard people say mounted mage is too OP, please nerf it, and then we have one that says we want to make it more powerful, I should be able to steer it at the same time. So I mean, there's always room for improvement, tweaks and balance, right? But right now we're quite careful in jumping in that without knowing what is the right direction in all those steps, because we hear quite opposite feedback from different players. So what's important now is to get TC in a proper state, balanced, stable, so we can enjoy that, because that also gives us infinite game loops. So we need to have it in right order. Parapherbows will make foot archers viable. Right now they're just rooked. Yeah, we know that you can't really be a dedicated archer style. That upset quite a lot of people because they want to have that role, right? It's quite a classic ranger role. And I think with the special moves, you will have much more options to play a dedicated archer. So we will see, right? When we go through the testing. Can we please get boats and farming in the same update so we can call the update boats and hubs? Never mind, we will see, right? We will see. Will there be throwing potions like smoker potion, etc.? Yes, with the throwing mechanic, you may be able to throw anything pretty much, but obviously there will be a lot of things that aren't very effective to throw. Like I don't know how effective it is to throw a pole sword. But maybe at last resort, he's fleeing, you have no more thing to do, he's just out of reach. You try to throw your main weapon, bam! If it's enough, you're getting mercy, and maybe it made a fight. But yeah, we plan to have throwing daggers and axes that are obviously effective to throw, and maybe javelins, and then to be able to throw potions that have different effects, like smoke, explosions, stuff like that. Yes. You mentioned dominatable satyrs in the past and news and this. No, not really. I'm not 100% sure. Again, this ties quite a bit with the lore. I need to discuss a little bit with Mats. So I'm not sure. I can't really say for sure at this point. Why should you have a foot archer as a viable? This is so dumb. Can't wait to 360 weak spot people who can't defend against my damage, and I can't just block all their attacks. Cool idea. So obviously a bow is not as effective as a sword when you are in melee range, right? That's a given one. So it's more like, okay, maybe you can do something to survive, or if he's close to death, maybe you can sacrifice through, you can parry a blow, you can try to get through. Now there's nothing, right? There's no option, no tactics, and no nothing. But like I said, a melee weapon will still always be optimal in melee range against anything else. You know, that's quite logical. But there will be options and tactics, at least for all weapon groups, including archery. Bow should deal 0 damage to shields. PvE servers when, Henrik? Romzera, I hope that we don't need a PvE server when we get the security system in place with Epic. You know, there will be one world where there are security, from high security to medium to no security. And you can decide to obviously live within enclosed high security at all times and low security to avoid a bit maybe of that PvP, if that's what you want to avoid.
It does automatic scaling. You do not manage the infrastructure because everything is provisioned for you. It patches automatically. It fails over automatically.
Both severely outpower spells. Spells can be interrupted 75 times a time, required to drive straight and take way longer to prep an hour. Yeah. We know. We just carefully in extremely buffing magic because bow is also ranged and in some cases more powerful. Obviously, you only have the one arrow option with archery, while you have an arsenal of spell effects with magic, right? So we're careful right now and going too deep into crazy balancing without being able to fully focus on it, right? We need to deliver a solid TC foundation so people can enjoy that infinitely before we move forward. Alright, shit, I hit the 3-hour mark today. I'm 1 hour overdue, guys. I tried to run these in 2 hours, as you know. And I'm getting a little bit tired now. So I think this is my cue for today. Like always, you know, we have a stream pretty much every Wednesday. So there's always another one, you know. Let's do a little raid, guys. Let's do a little raid. Who do we got online today? We have quite a few streamers. Let me do a little poll, and you will help me who we should raid today. Shall we? Give me 1 moment. We oh, we got the Milan's greatest bard streaming. Who do we have more? I'm picking up a random here, right? And the last one. Let's see. All right. Vote, guys. Vote. 2 minutes. Quick vote. And then I will raid. And then it's time for some night snack for me. And I will watch the raid a little bit as well before getting tired. Um, You can show super fast the new clothes. So I only have one cloth that was ready and finished that I grabbed in the last minute to show you. But yeah, here it is. So a poor man's clothing for citizens and anyone who wants to. And again, everything is mix and matchable, and you craft them in whatever resource you want. So this is a normal brown leather. You can craft it in any fine silk or whatever you want, right? That determines the looks of it. And you get this rare cape, or rare. It's a half-cut broken cape that comes with this set. And then I'm gonna show you two other completely different styles, a more richy looking one, I would say, and Conan headpiece. One of the other armors I really think it looks really awesome. I think you're gonna enjoy that one. And obviously a lot of these will be quite useful and effective for thieveries, rogues, assassin styles that wanna benefit from full efficiency without hindered by heavy armors. Can't wait to be a homeless begging for change in the set. Indeed. Alright guys, Tomberry it is, our greatest bard in Milan. A really awesome streamer. Alright, Beggar equipment. Let's pass on raid then. So, can you make passive raid not take month level time? We'll look into that, okay. Alright, I want to thank you all for joining in today with all your questions, all your donations and questions and all of that. We always appreciate that you join in on these streams so we can keep on running them. We appreciate it. Everyone here at StarVault appreciate your feedback and support. So let's do our raid then to Thumberry and show him some support. He always does some crazy shenanigans that is really enjoyable to watch as well. Have a good night, everyone. And hopefully my raid button works today. Quite lately it's been bugging out on me. I haven't restarted my computer for a year, so maybe that's why. But I would try. Alright. I thank you all and have a very good night. And let's see if it works. Thank you all.
You can even use it for predictable workloads. Or if you're building end-to-end serverless,
Did it work?
where various
Yeah.
AWS services provide you the serverless capabilities, Amazon Redshift
Hey.
can be part of it.